Good morning, Facebook friends, and welcome to episode 50 of the Mugs Up Show, where we will celebrate today's 50th episode by me giving you my favorite chicken soup recipe. Now, before I do that, I need to address something here. Yesterday, when I put my episode up on YouTube and then shared it out through Facebook, I saw the image and my eyes are really, really red. And I looked at the camera today and my eyes are really, really red. I mean, I look like I am absolutely high out of my mind, but I promise that is not the case. Like many of you know, I have been sober for 5 years now. No drugs and alcohol for 5 years. I don't really know why my eyes are very red the last 2 mornings, but I just wanted to clear that up because I looked at that yesterday and thought, my God, people are going to start thinking you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. But I'm not, I promise. All right, now, getting on to today's topic. This was brought to me by Emma, the content curator of this show, and my sister. I told her I wanted to do something special for the 50th episode, and she said, why don't you share your favorite recipe with them? Now, this is one of my favorite recipes, and it's a great recipe to share because right now, people are getting sick. You know, the whole COVID thing is still going around. We're still kind of in the middle of that pandemic. Flu season is about us. Strep throat, all that bullshit that all of us get every year. And it's also getting cold outside. So what better recipe to share with you all besides my favorite chicken soup recipe? Now, this recipe, I will say, I feel like I invented, although I'm sure someone like my grandma Jane had this recipe stored away in a cookbook somewhere for the last 50 years without me knowing it. But how this recipe came about was maybe 2 years ago. I think I was sick or it was cold outside or something. And I wanted chicken noodle soup. And this is about the time when I started going low carb. I've been eating low carb for 2 or 3 years now. And generally speaking, I just think that everybody should do that. I don't think carbs are super necessary in life, or not a lot of them anyway. We need some, but we really don't need many. And especially the carbs that are like table sugar, processed grains and shit like that. That's all complete bullshit. And I believe that stuff is what makes us unhealthy and fat. And in fact, the only way I've ever been able to stay thin is by not eating that bullshit, completely just not letting it enter my diet. So anyway, long story short, I could talk hours about the low carb subject. That is not what this show is about, and I'm not going to. But I was online looking for a good low carb version of chicken noodle soup. So basically a noodle-less soup. And what I came across was this recipe called chicken detox soup. Now, if you've got a seriously big pair of balls, you can go find that recipe and try it yourself. But I tried it one time and it was way too fucking stout to try again. And I mean, it had ginger in it, it had red pepper in it, it had all this stuff that just made it the strongest soup you had ever eaten in your life, like so strong I couldn't eat it. So I modified the recipe. Basically what I did was I took out the ginger, I took out the red pepper, I left everything else, and what we're left with is what I'm going to share with you today. And so I'm going to go through an ingredients list, and then I'm also going to tell you how to cook it. It's going to be short and simple, and then go be ready to cook my favorite chicken soup. So here we go. Here are the ingredients. Number 1, 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Now, you can make a bigger batch. In fact, most of the time I do, I'll put 4 or 5 chicken breasts in there. I just increase the amount of chicken broth I use. Number 2 item, 2 quarts of chicken broth, 1 large item, 3 cups broccoli florets, 2.5 cups sliced carrots, 2 cups chopped celery, 1.5 cups peas, frozen peas. The peas, the celery, the carrots, that stuff can be frozen if you want it to. The only frozen item I buy is the broccoli and the peas. A 1/4 cup chopped parsley, 4 garlic cloves. Those can be pre-chopped, you know, the minced ones you get in a little can you can keep in your fridge. Totally fine. 1 clove of garlic, by the way, equals 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, just so you know. 2 tablespoons EVOO, 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar. I know that sounds fucking weird, but you can't even taste it, so put it in there. 1/4 teaspoon turmeric, and salt and pepper to taste, essentially. Now, those are the ingredients. So here is how you cook it. First thing you're gonna do, you're going to take the onion, celery, garlic, and EVOO. You're gonna get your soup pot. You're gonna put it on medium heat. You're gonna drizzle your olive oil in there, and you're gonna saute the onion, celery, and garlic in the bottom of that soup pot. Saute it, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes until it kind of gets, soft or softer. Once you've done that, you're gonna add in your chicken breasts, your carrot, your broth, your apple cider vinegar, your turmeric, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and you're going to boil it for 20 minutes. That's how long it takes the chicken to cook through. So you're gonna boil that for 20 minutes. At the end of the 20 minutes, you're gonna take the chicken out. You're gonna let it cool for, 5, 6, 7 minutes. However long it takes for you to be able to shred it with your hands and a fork. And then once you take the chicken out, you're going to put in the peas and the broccoli and the parsley, and you're gonna let them start cooking. Mainly until the broccoli gets tender to your liking. And while the broccoli's cooking in the broth, you're gonna shred up the chicken with your hands or with forks, however you want to do it. My favorite is to shred it really, really tiny. Once the chicken's shredded, you're gonna throw it in there and stir it around, and that shit is done and ready to eat. And it's fucking phenomenal. And I have no doubt that you will like this just as much as you like the noodle version. And I know there's some of you out there right now saying, oh, there's no fucking way I'm gonna like this as much as the version with noodles. Well, you fucking are. I promise you are. Because while I am not a fan of eating lots of carbs, I fucking love carbs. I know exactly what that shit tastes like. It's fucking yummy. And I'm telling you, this version of chicken soup, I like just as much, if not more, than the noodle version. And I know you can too. So give it a fucking shot. If you're sick, if you're cold, this is the perfect soup recipe to use. Go make this shit within the next week and let us know here at the show how you liked it. With that, mugs up. Get out there and make yourselves some chicken soup. We'll see you tomorrow for episode 51 of the Mugs Up Show. We love you.